So yeah, I'm from the Toonari Post and from under the music group. We usually report music, live events, artists, all that stuff. My personal interest usually covers how music is evolving and how artists and musicians are taking music to a different level.
Mm-hmm.
Considering the fact that the more time evolves, electronic music is replacing all musicians right now and all that stuff.
Right.
So if you can tell me what you think of that, how how computers are replacing musicians.
Well, they're not.
Okay.
You know, they're not replacing musicians. It's impossible to replace a musician.
Okay.
What is possible, of course, is to produce music on computers and with computers,
Yeah.
and use no musicians to reproduce music live, which happens a lot, of course, unfortunately. I think it's a pathetic situation, you know, because obviously, you know, the human factor is what's interesting and relevant and emotional and unpredictable in making music, and the human interaction is a very important element of, in my opinion, real music, not just acoustic entertainment, which most of electronic music is. Electronic music is programmed, it's always pre-produced, it's never spontaneous, it's never interactive, and it's never unpredictable and unique and spontaneous. So all the important elements, I think, are missing in electronic music. And so although a lot of sort of acoustic entertainment is produced electronically today, I wouldn't call it you know, quality music or anything like that. And I think it's a problem, and it's pathetic that a lot of kids grow up not knowing the difference between electronically produced music or even music that consists mainly of, you know, samples and sequencing and etc. and real music. And I read a very important and interesting fact recently. 80% of all music released today is made by non-musicians. You know, and that's DJs, that's kids with yeah, and that's kids with GarageBand and you know, sequencing and programming software. So most audiences out there have to swim through an ocean of bullshit music, and they're never aware, and they don't know what good music is, what real music is, and what sort of prefab sequencing sample electronic stuff is. So I think it's a sort of a sad situation right now. However, when there's a trend like this and a situation like this, there's always a very strong sort of antithesis and a counterpoint and a counterculture to that. And at the moment, you see also some of the best musicians in the world or in history who've ever lived working and playing today. So the one extreme has also spawned and provoked the other extreme of extremely dedicated and amazing, skilled young musicians with command over their instruments that's unmatched in history.
Okay.
So, bad, good.
Yeah, I mean, like example for today. I mean, reporting this event, I saw the post and all that stuff. There's like autonomous flying, and all. I expected like a huge crowd. I mean, it's a big thing in the history. Like people who appreciate good music. I expected like a huge stadium, for example, to be, but barely people. Some people don't even know about it and all that stuff.
Absolutely. You
But
know
if
what
it's
we do?
someone else, it would be like everyone's like, yeah, I'm going, of course.
Yeah. You know, our market is a niche market, and we're in a city where, you know, Perth is a little isolated also, and I don't know what the music scene is like in Perth, but we're maybe not in the most sort of fertile sort of environment for what we do. But it's still a good crowd. I'm happy wherever we go. At least, you know, there's a few people who appreciate what we do and who show interest and dedication also, you know. So it's a great thing that no matter where we go, crowds differ in size, but it's wonderful that there is crowds everywhere, at least, you know.
Okay, tell us about your self and like your music background when you started and all that stuff.
Well, I started playing when I was 5.
Okay.
I come from Austria, from Vienna in Austria. I was born and raised in Vienna and moved and studied music in Austria, learned drums at age 5. Had teachers from the beginning. I moved to the UK right after high school and lived in England for 15 years. I started working a lot with bands and artists from all over Europe
Okay.
and also England, of course.
Yeah.
And started working early on with a guy named Falco from Austria. We
Okay.
had a big #1 hit in the States in '86.
Alright.
And from that on, I was a professional musician. I toured the world right after
Okay.
high school. And I started working with a lot of bands from the UK, including Asia and King Crimson and John Wetton, Phil Manzanera, Rod Stewart, Tina Turner,
Okay.
Kylie Minogue from Australia,
Mm.
George Michael from the Spice Girls, Robbie Williams, a lot of sort of pop acts.
Okay.
And then did that for many years with many different acts and bands. Annie Lennox and Sugar Babes, a lot of pop, with British pop. And then moved to the States after 15 years in London. Moved to LA, and now I mainly write and produce music
Okay.
in my own studio.
Yeah.
I do a lot of my own stuff. I have a record label, I produce bands, and I write with a lot of other artists. And of course, I play for other artists, do a lot of session work, and a lot of my own productions.
Yeah.
And there it is. That's it so far.
So you're more interested in projects other than just sticking with one group like most other
Yes, I
musicians?
like that. I always have had my own bands.
Okay.
I had a band called Save the Robots for many years. I had a band called Dynamo for many years, and now I have Stork.
Yeah.
And I have always also produced solo albums
Okay.
not only as a drummer, also as a songwriter and some even singer early on in my career. And I never had the need to just stick with one band, and because I've always done my own things, I find it interesting to work with other people, and I enjoy the variety and the different styles of music,
Yeah.
and the different people, the different situations. I like working all over the world with different, people from different, cultural backgrounds, musical backgrounds. So that's an interesting aspect of it for me.
Okay. Last thing. Can you tell us about your equipment? Did you develop it your own, or had engineers or whatever?
Sure, over the years I've designed many
Okay.
instruments
Yeah.
and sort of components of what we do, and yes, I've designed drum sets,
Okay.
for drum companies before, and I've designed pedals, I've designed cymbals,
Yeah.
and today, for example, I use a lot of my signature cymbals. I use my signature sticks,
Yeah.
of course. I've designed signature practice pads and a lot of sort of different components of the drum set and the whole instrument. So I can get, a very sort of, an ideal representation of the vision of sound in my head,
Yeah.
and if I have a certain idea or a vision that I'm hearing in my head and in my mind, then I'm able to design exactly the instrument that
Yeah.
creates that sound,
Yeah.
and it's a luxury to be able to do that. And of course, I'm very happy I get to make my own stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Lots of your fans like your pedals, lots of
Yeah.
pedals in the drums.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot for.
Sure,
for
my
this.
pleasure.
It was great. Yeah.
My pleasure. Thanks for
Yeah.
being here.
Good playing again. Yeah.